I am so sorry for thinking the red skies on the West Coast were like a fun filter or something. Turns out the West Coast is in flames, and of course, Trumpetant Drumpf is once again saying, hey, this thing that makes you cough will just magically disappear.
We want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests. That science is going to be key.
It'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I defend science from the president's attacks by drinking my green juice out of a beaker. Chasten, what do you do to save the earth?
Well, a hell of a lot more than this president. It's pretty surprising. I mean, it's not really surprising that he just thinks that science might be a person who has or doesn't have facts. But I know the thing that I'm going to do the most to save our climate is make sure we elect Joe Biden this fall.
Do you know who's doing the work? Governor Gavin Newsom. Sure, he approved drilling permits for 1,400 new oil and gas wells this year, but look at his tweet. The hots are getting hotter. The dries are getting drier. The evidence is all around us. Climate change is real. That's a man who's sloganeering like he's running out of time.
Joe Biden clapped back at Trump in a speech beside a rustic fence looking like my grandpa officiating my wedding that will happen before you go, I promise, Peapot.
Donald Trump warns that integration is threatening our suburbs. It's ridiculous. But you know what is actually threatening our suburbs? Wildfires are burning the suburbs in the west.
That's our Joe, looking like a snack while implicitly promising your cul-de-sac won't be integrated.
Chasten, won't voters love that he has such bold solutions like this is a problem that needs a solution?
Yeah, I wish we were, elevating the dialogue just a little bit more than one person who believes in science and the other person who just thinks climate change is a hoax. But I think that's on the side of Joe Biden, that he believes in science, he believes the facts.
This is so frustrating because we know who the culprits are. 100 companies produce 71% of emissions, and we as a species have to look at a crisis like this and use whatever means possible to break up those companies, stop those emissions, retrain those...
Brian, Kylie literally said that I was the host and should say most of the stuff today, like you heard on that voicemail that I played on speaker in your face.
You're right.
Ding dong, get the door, bad news is here. J.K. Rowling's case of the hates has not been cured, but rather is going through a serious flare-up. Reviews of her new novel have surfaced, and they describe it as a cold case of a woman believed to be the victim of Dennis Creed, a transvestite serial killer. The reviews go on to say, one wonders what critics of Rowling's stance on trans issues will make of a book whose moral seems to be never trust a man in a dress. Okay, Accio barf bag, but we're not going to jump to any hasty conclusions based on several hundred pages of purposefully written and edited material. Chasten, is it possible to separate the hateful art from the hateful artist?
As someone who wrote a book and would love to sell them to pay off my student loans, buy my book instead of hers. I mean, but shame on her. I mean, she just doubles down on her transphobia, and it's really sad because Harry Potter meant a lot to me as a young queer kid who felt like an outcast. And I know it means a lot to young queer people around the country as well. And it's really sad to grow up and see, one of your heroes when you were younger be so openly transphobic. And I'm just sorry to every trans person who has to read all of that hate.
Just because J.K. Rowling has retweeted some transphobic dog whistles that she refused to apologize for, wrote a detailed blog defending said dog whistles, and has now written an entire novel with a transphobic plot, doesn't mean she's actually transphobic.
Yes, Peter.
And this has nothing to do with the fact that Harry Potter are the only books I've read as an adult, Chasten. No!
Yeah, you can still clutch Deathly Hallows to your chest, but unfortunately, she's transphobic.
Okay, listen, I'm spiraling here. I know we need to cancel J.K. Rowling, but I don't have the stomach to do it, so I am going to cancel myself.
Lila, I don't think you have to do that. I mean...
Lila Maria Misora Castillo de la Peña Moreno, ya canceled, bish. Okay, now I don't want to point any chicken fingers, but someone on this panel actually literally went on the campaign trail with Pete Buttigieg, and I'll give you a hint. It's his husband. First of all, you have a Chris Evans dick-sized social media presence. How were you able to outshine Bruce Mann?
Oh, I mean, I just do what I do, and people seem to like it. And I appreciate using that platform to, one, call out the homophobia and the hate, and then two, just share a really good Meryl Streep gif.
Chasten, do you think Pete aimed too low by running for president and should have gone for UN Secretary General?
I just want Pete to be engaged. Truthfully, he's happiest when he's solving big problems and working in that arena. So whatever he wants to do, I'll be there to support him.
Last question, can Pete come say hi? Feel free to tell him that I'm sick and it's my dying wish. I do that a lot to get like a second date or like a latte or kind of whatever I need for the day.
It sounds like it works for you, but unfortunately he's at work. He's teaching up the street at Notre Dame.
Very rude. But thank you to my analysts and my guest, Chasten Buttigieg. His book, I Have Something to Tell You, is available now and obviously already on my nightstand next to my book. Don't you fucking tell anyone what I just told you. Good day, everyone. Is that your dog?
That's Buddy, and he knows when the camera's on. Here, I can take you downstairs if you really want to see him.
Okay, Chasten, go through Pete's clothes with us.